Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Tim Black at Night Show. I'm so glad to have you all here in the house. Yes. Today is going to be a great show, an impactful show. You're about to get the business handed to you, no doubt. Before I get into that, let me enlighten a couple of you because you may not know this. I was talking about it on an earlier show, and I got a little bit of feedback coming. Hey, Facebook people, how y'all doing? What's up, Facebook? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I see you. Good to have you here. YouTube, check this out, guys. Earlier today, I ran across some statements about Hillary Clinton's not doing so well with the black community. And I was kind of taken back because I thought for sure that hot sauce had worked. You mean to tell me the hot sauce wasn't working, man? The dab didn't work. David, the dab didn't work. So, you know, President Obama's been out on the campaign trail for trying to get black folks to come on over. He's been on every black radio station he can be on. I heard he went to Tyler Perry's. He's going to be in the next Medea trying to get some black votes for Hillary Clinton, man. You guys aren't acting right. It's crazy, man. You know, the thing is this. In 2012, Obama didn't do as well with black folks as he did in 2008. Of course not, man. He was at the highest activity in 2008. The Hillary is not polling in nearly as well as Obama did in 2012. Now, I've been telling people, if Romney had got the same turnout that McCain got, then we wouldn't have had a second term Obama. You guys understand that? Because the numbers just weren't there. Now, Hillary, if she doesn't get those numbers up and Trump is able to pull more white voters, then we may be looking at a serious rundown to this election. Don't listen to anyone telling you that this is in the bag. This thing is definitely up for grabs. But, hey, that's not what it all is tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the Green Party, and I have a special guest with me here tonight. His name is David Cobb. He's the campaign manager for Dr. Jill Stein and John Baraka. Give it up for David Cobb, y'all. What's up, David?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm just sifting through numbers. I got all these documents on my desk. I'm trying to, keep track of this crazy election, man. How are things going with the Green Party?
Listen, look, things are going amazing, Tim. It's really important to understand, like, big picture-wise, 57% of the American people want a new political party, right? That's an astounding number. The Green Party actually has the program, the platform, the history, the candidates. We are that party, right? And here's the other thing. For the last 40 years that there have been alternative political parties, so-called third parties in this country, the same thing happens in that near you.
Did you get some feedback there, David?
I sure did.
Yeah, man. Guys, Facebook people, look, do me a favor, Facebook. You got to go to YouTube because I can't run both speakers. I hate to do this to you. I wanted to give David I want to give him as much exposure as possible. But in order for you to hear it, you got to go to YouTube. So go to IamTimBlack.com. That is a redirect that points you to YouTube. And pick me up later if you can't do it. But I would love for you to join us. Join us there, though. Okay, guys? Go to IamTimBlack.com. Hey, man, I tried to get fancy, man. Sorry about that.
No, I know. Hey, it's still happening. All right, there it goes. Look, so let me go back.
So, Dave, don't let me cut you off, man. You on the roll, man. You were talking about some numbers. You said.
Yeah, and it's important, right? Because I watch your stuff, man. I know who you are. I know how you are. So 57% of the American people want a new political party. The Green Party actually is that party. We have the program, the platform, the local elected officials in every way. And here's the second thing I want to share with you about some numbers. For the last 40 years, there has been a trajectory. Some third party will be at 4 or 5%, and then the numbers start to crater in October. First part of October, they start to dip. Mid part of October, they're cratering. Election day, people have gotten scared of of not voting for either the Democrat or the Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's happening for the first time in history that polling numbers have happened. Jill Stein's numbers are actually going up. We have gone from 2% to 3% to 4%. We are hovering at 5% in some places. And the thing that I want you to understand and your listeners and viewers to understand, 5% for the Green Party means $10 million in federal funding for the Green Party.
Give it up for $10 million for the Green Party, y'all.
That's right. And the other thing I want to remind and that is the role. I want to remind you and your viewers the role of alternative political parties, so-called third parties, have played in this country. See, if you think everything is basically all right now, and you just want to tinker at the margins, the society's all right, but we just got to make a few changes, then by all means, choose either Trump or Clinton, right? Because you're going to get more or less more of the same. But if you want systemic transformational change, you got to look at what it took in history to make systemic change. And here, it's an easy formula to describe, super hard to do, but super easy to describe. Here it is, 2 steps. 1, you have to have a social movement in the streets, broad, deep, conscious, militant. And Tim, let's say it. You got to be in the streets, but in the pool halls, in the bowling alleys, shops, in the beauty salons, right? You got to be where people are, having those conversations. But even if you do all of that and you change how people are thinking and talking, but you don't run candidates for office who can make policy changes, then you don't get change. But if you just run candidates without a movement, you don't get change. So the simple 2-step process is a social movement and an electoral arm at the ballot box. And here is what it took third parties to champion at the ballot box in this country. You ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Slavery. Women getting the right to vote, the creation of the Social Security Administration, unemployment insurance, keep writing, workers' compensation laws, pure food and drug laws. I ain't through. Unemployment insurance, workers' compensation laws. There's still more. Pure food and drug laws, the 40-hour work week, the weekend. Jesus Christ, Tim Black, the entire fabric of what we today consider the bare damn minimum for a just and compassionate society, that fabric was woven together thread by thread, issue by issue, by third-party activists. People who did their work when they were called naive and unrealistic, people who did their work when they were called dangerous un-Americans, and people who did their work when they were called spoilers. So I'm going to say it like this. If you want to live in a world, not just talk about it, but live in a world that will end war as foreign policy, if you want to live in a world that will transition away from coal and oil and nuclear power to sustainable alternative energy, if you want to live in a world that will abolish student debt and guarantee 4 years of college education as part of public education, if you want to live in a world that will dismantle the racist criminal justice system and the entire prison industrial complex, if you want to live in a world that will address the corporatized education of this country that is teaching children to be passive and obedient rather than critical thinkers in our society, see, if you want to live in a new world, you got to be willing to vote for it. It's just that simple.
I love it, man. I should have played this before you started talking, brother. Here comes the boom, man. You bring David in here. Here comes the boom, man. This guy is serious, man. You came with both guns blazing. You didn't hold nothing back. Look. I've been trying to communicate this to people all along. Exactly. That. First of all, I want to say I was enlightened because I did not know all of the power, all of the changes that were brought apart by third-party candidates. Had no idea. I don't think general public's aware of that, so that's fantastic. Here's my thing. I've been saying, look, I want my son to not have the same problem. I don't want him to ever be faced with 2 horrible candidates to choose from. Do you want cyanide or do you want rat poison? I don't want him to have those options. I've been saying we need to build up the Green Party just for the reasons you just outlined. David, you said it, but when you're talking to people that are scared, not me, I ain't scared of Donald Trump, but are scared, what do you tell them about the short-term pain that you may suffer?
So I want to say this, like straight up, if somebody is genuinely scared of Donald Trump, I feel you. I get it, right? I mean, that man is a straight-up racist, xenophobe. He's a proto-fascist. There ain't no doubt about it, right? But here's the other thing, Tim. We got to tell the truth. Hillary Clinton is a neoliberal. Like, she created the conditions, and people like her created the conditions for Donald Trump. You don't fight a proto-fascist candidate with a neoliberal candidate. It's the flip side of the same coin. And you know what? As a black man, we about of the same generation, more or less. You remember Hillary Clinton calling young black men super predators.
Yeah, I remember it.
You know, and her husband forced the North American Free Trade Agreement down our throats, and the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which basically created the context for the corporatized media in which we're currently. And it's still not over. How about No Child Left Behind? How about the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank? How about the world, how about the Federal Reserve, and how about Hillary Clinton's being on the board of Walmart? I mean, I could go on and on and on. So I guess what I'm getting at is this. I feel you if you as a viewer are like, I'm scared of Donald Trump. But I got news for you. You better be scared of Hillary Clinton too. If you're going to be scared, you got to be scared of like don't just be scared of the werewolf, be scared of Frankenstein too. That either one of them are coming to get you, right? So here's my point, Tim. Mm-hmm. Yes, let's be crystal clear about what we're dealing with these two corporate parties. But at the end of the day, I'm inviting you, the viewer, to look at the Green Party not as a protest vote, but a movement vote, right? We are building a movement. And remember I said that you needed a social movement in the streets, right, and an electoral arm at the ballot box? Let's just say this. I'm of a generation that can say with certainty there is something different about the politics that are happening now. I don't mean just electoral politics. I mean the social movements. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, the climate justice movement, the Move to Amend movement to abolish corporate constitutional rights and get money out of elections, the movement against the prison industrial complex, the movement to democratize the money supply and shut down the Federal Reserve. Tim, there is a militancy of these movements, and I don't mean just like throwing rocks in the streets. I mean, there is a willingness to speak truth to power, right, in a way I have not seen before. People are willing to go into the streets and the pool halls and the bowling alley. Something is happening, right? And here's the other thing. The Stein Baraka campaign and the Green Party, we ain't going away. We're getting larger. We're getting stronger. We're getting better organized every day. And on November 8th, we're going to be at the ballot box. And on November 9th, we're going to rest up, because on November 10, we right back at it.
I love it. Give it up for that, you guys. Give it up for that. You know what? I heard a person, I'm sure you're used to this crap I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it and give you great time to respond. I heard a person we all know, Josh Fox, make some claims about the Green Party being a spoiler effect. He looked a little pissed, like he took it personal that you somehow are going to disable Hillary Clinton from taking the White House because he's done so much work in climate change. It wasn't for him. There'd be no work done at all in climate change, and he tried to talk to you and try to tell you to call off everything because he's going to go around and save the world for you. What's your response to people like Josh Fox and others who say that Green Party just want to spoil it for the blues?
Yeah, you know, looky here. I think it's an important. Josh Fox is a fantastic filmmaker, and he's on the front lines of the environmental movement. So I'm gonna give him the props that he has earned. But I say with respect, he ain't giving the Green Party the props that we have earned.
Hello?
Right?
Hello?
You know, because the reality is that Greens are actually on the front lines of struggles all the time. We were on the front lines of the World Trade Organization protests in November of 1999. Many of us were billy clubbed and got tear gassed. We've got our cred. You know, and Jill Stein has won numerous environmental awards, from Clean Water Action, from the Sierra Club. I mean, it's a long list, right? She's been arrested multiple times, as I've been arrested multiple times. So with all due respect to Josh Fox, if he has not seen Greens, it's because he hasn't been looking for us. He's been seeing us as human beings, but we may not be wearing our big old Green Party buttons, right? So all I'm getting at is Greens have been on the front line of the anti-fracking fight. We've been on the front lines of the fight against the climate crisis that we're facing. Greens have been on the front line of almost every movement that has happened in this country in the last 20 years. So I give Josh Fox the credit that he deserves not only as a filmmaker, but also as an environmental activist.
Right.
But he's not given the Green Party or the individual members of the Green Party the credit that we deserve. So I ain't mad at him for it. I would like to educate him about that. Now, I want to be clear. He's got the right to hold his nose and pull a lever for Hillary Clinton.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh, let me just be clear. He's got the right to do that.
Okay.
I think it's stupid, but he's got the right to do it. He's got the right to do it. But here's the thing. If you're going to hold your nose and pull a lever for Hillary Clinton, let's be clear. You ain't voting for her.
Right.
You voting against Donald Trump, right?
Right.
Well, you can vote against Donald Trump by voting for Jill Stein just as easily.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Why don't I hear that more often from other people? It's always, if you vote for Jill, you're voting for Jill. You know what? I never really got into that logic, David, where it's like, look, if I buy an apple, I bought an apple. Buying an apple, it's not buying an orange. Right?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense, right? It is absolutely ridiculous. And the point is that politics of fear has delivered us everything that we're afraid of, right? Oh, no, we're afraid of climate change. Let's always vote for the lesser evil, and we end up in the same damn predicament. Oh, no, we're afraid of racism, so we end up in the same thing. I want to be very candid about this. Tim, we've seen a lifetime of this. I mean, I'm 53 years old, right? I have seen this before. I cut my teeth on elections on Jesse Jackson's campaigns in 1984 and 1988. I was a student organizer for Jesse, right? And then I went on and worked on Jerry Brown's campaign in 92. See, I learned a lot as a young man working for Jesse in 84 and 88. As a white person, I learned how to put myself under the leadership of people of color for the first time in my life. It was very important, for me to deal with that. I also learned from Jesse Jackson how to build genuine coalitions between environmentalists and women's groups and organized labor. I learned about Palestine and foreign policy and just how horrible the empire, the U.S. empire is. I learned a lot. You know what else I learned, Tim? I learned that the Democratic Party's presidential primary process is where genuine progressive politics goes to die. Because all the energy, excitement, and enthusiasm that rises up in that Democratic Party primary is crushed by the corporatist, militarist empire that the Democratic Party leadership exists. And let me just name it. Jesse Jackson, 84 and 88. A movement rises up, crushed. Jesse says, I know what let's do. Let's form an organization to take over and shift the Democratic Party to the left. That was called Rainbow Push. 4 years later, Jerry Brown rises up, a progressive movement crushed by the leadership of the Democratic Party. He says, I know what let's do. Let's create an organization, take over the Democratic Party, force it to the left. That was called We the People. I'm not through, because 4 years later, you had Dennis Kucinich rising up, and he was crushed by the Democratic Party leadership. He said, I know what let's do. Let's create an organization, take over the Democratic Party, shift it to the left. That was called Progressive Democrats of America. 4 years later, Howard Dean rises up, a progressive movement in the Democratic Party, crushed by the Democratic Party leadership. He says, I know what let's do. Let's create an organization, take over the Democratic Party, take it to the left. That was called Democracy for America. That shit don't work, Tim. It just doesn't work.
That dog don't hunt, David. It don't hunt.
And I'm telling you. And the thing is, literally over $100 million has been raised and spent on this strategy. It's a failed strategy. And now I know, Tim, that you were a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders in the primary. Props to you for it. Bernie Sanders was right on every single issue, right? But you know what? Everybody gets to be wrong occasionally. And Bernie Sanders is right on every policy issue, but he is wrong on the tactic of trying to somehow get into the Democratic Party and get Hillary Clinton to do something. Because here's the thing. When people say, oh, well, we got to elect Hillary so we can, quote, hold her feet to the fire, with what, fool? Like, you just gave up all your power. The power that we have as voters is our vote. Right. Like, you're going to actually get something out of her, She has been, it ain't even the election, and she's already going to the right. I mean, come on, y'all.
I hear you. I hear it all the time. We're gonna hold her accountable after we give her the job. Like,
with what?
She's a president. What are you gonna do?
With your magical powers? You know, that's Harry Potter, man.
And then it's going to be, at the next election, there'll be some other scary Republican, and they're going to go, we got to stick with her because we got old Spooky over here. He's going to bring back slavery and deport, you know, people, and it'll be some other scare tactic, David.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to fight Donald Trump and Trumpismo just as hard as I'm going to fight Hillary Clinton and neoliberalism, right? I'm not saying that they are the same. They're not. They are, but they are basically one side or the other. See, here's the thing. If you want to be for peace and justice, you got to be for it. If you actually want to dismantle, because I won't just say it this way, Tim, the United States of America is fundamentally racist. It's fundamentally sexist. It's fundamentally class oppressive. Oh, and by the way, these huge corporations, they're going to destroy the planet that we depend upon for life itself if we don't stop them. And that's where the Green Party comes in. A plan of action, the Green New Deal, to put 20 million Americans to work building new infrastructure. It's possible. It's been done before. We don't lack the technology. We don't lack the money. We only lack the political will. And all the Green Party needs is 5% of the vote to flip the script. So if you are watching the Tim Black Show, then I already know who you are. You already woke. So stay woke.
Right.
Stay woke going into that ballot box, man. Don't fall for that lesser evil nonsense. It don't get anywhere.
I keep trying to tell him, David, now, you brought up a good point when you say about the policies of the Green Party. You brought up the Green New Deal. John Oliver recently went on there for HBO. I made a video spoofing him, and it was really funny. Thank you, brother. He brought up qualitative easing. He brought up, and I was asked to ask you about this, the modern monetary theory. What did he? How would you pay for, or explain to me a little bit about how the working out for the college debt?
I will. Before we jump into the policies, I do want to point something out. John Oliver's producers contacted the Stein Baraka campaign and said, we want to treat y'all like a real party. So we're really interested in this abolishing student debt. How would you pay for it? And we gave them 4 different mechanisms by which it could be paid for. They ignored the first 3 and then only focused on qualitative easing because it was a straw man. Now, I want to be clear about something. Qualitative easing can be done. It's just basically digitally creating money from the Federal Reserve, right? It was done in 2008, and like $16 trillion was created that way and given to Wall Street, you know, the same crooks who crashed the economy. So it's been done before. So one question is, how come you can do that for Wall Street, but you can't do that for the victims of Wall Street? You know, riddle me that, Batman. But the point is, qualitative easing is politically difficult because it would take the Federal Reserve to do it. But the reality is it can be done. It is basically digitally creating money. That's all qualitative easing is. But here's deeper, Tim. That was not even our first thing. Our first thing was a 0.02% transaction tax on Wall Street. You know, Wall Street is the only industry in the country that is not subjected to a sales tax. So we're talking about a 0.2% tax on Wall Street transactions that would generate billions of dollars. I said billion with a B, Tim. So right there, billions of dollars could be created by that policy.
Hold on, David, you just enlightened me. My head's about to explode. You mean to tell me when they sell instruments on Wall Street, they don't pay a sales tax? Like if I sold an ice cream cone, I sold this pencil. When I sell this coffee, there's a tax. They pay no tax on that, David?
Here's the thing, Tim. As mad as you are right now, you ain't mad enough. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Look it up. Look it up. And so that's not the only one. We also said this. Looky here. There is a new generation of nuclear weapons that are about to be invested trillions of dollars over the next decade. Rather than investing in a new generation of nuclear weapons, why don't we invest in a generation of Americans and abolish their student debt and guarantee them 4 years of college tuition? We laid that on the table as a way to pay for it. And I'm still not done because remember I said there were 4. The third one we said is we should actually tax the billionaires, an income tax that goes back to taxing the billionaire class. Looky here, Tim. When people tell you there's not enough money for this, that, or the other thing, that's a lie. This economy has produced more wealth than has ever been produced in the history of planet Earth. We do not have a budget crisis. We've got an allocation crisis. We are allowing the billionaires to amass wealth, power, and decision-making authority. And you know, I'm a country boy, right? My daddy taught me an important lesson about money. He said this: son, money's a lot like manure. If you pile it in one space, it smells like the shit that it really is. But if you spread it around, you can do a lot of good with it. That's all I'm saying.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, David, man, you are, man, first of all, man, I watched the video. I told you offline, I was like, David, I already know you got some fire, man. You are a wealth of information plus fire. And you know what? I think I did see the video where Jill, she responded to Oliver, or maybe it was in print, where it was a response to that. That's dirty. Can I ask you how you feel about some of the discoveries in WikiLeaks, what we've been discovering about our media and how they're sort of colluding, not sort of, are colluding or working under behalf of political parties such as Hillary Clinton? Campaigns, I should say.
I got to tell you this, between Julian Assange, between Chelsea Manning, between Edward Snowden, we actually now have evidence of what this government does. This government spies on its own citizens. This government colludes with Wall Street and corporate America, and the Democratic Party colludes not only with Wall Street, but with corporate media. What we discovered was that the Hillary Clinton campaign was literally in bed with CNN, MSNBC, and key executives at NBC and ABC News, right? This is like outrageous. This is so bad, right? And it doesn't stop there. Now we have learned that there is actual memo evidence that John Podesta is in fact working with George Soros and other billionaires. You know, the thing is, these right-wing talking points, some of them are true, just like some of the left-wing talking points on the right are true. And here's what I want to point out, Tim. You know what I know? Principled liberals and progressives have been lied to and sold out by the ruling elite of the Democratic Party, who are taking their money and their marching orders from corporations, Wall Street America, big banks. But you know what? There's a corollary to that needs to be said. Principled conservatives have been lied to and sold out by the ruling elite of the Republican Party, who are taking their money and their marching orders from the same damn corporations and big banks. I got news for you. If we could ever figure out that we should have fierce, robust debate between the left and the right, we should have that grapple together. But they actually get us arguing with one another, pulling a shell game on us, right? The leadership of the Democratic and the Republican parties are part of the problem, right? They playing us off at each other. Now, I'm telling you that we can build a movement that actually unites white folks, black folks, and brown folks. We can build a movement that unites working class people, that unites the small rancher and the small farmer and the worker and the small business person, and say, at the end of the day, we just talking about economic democracy. Do we, the people, have the power to govern ourselves? And if we do, then we can fuss about and grapple and fight over individual policies. But right now, we are being played for fools, Tim, because all the fights and debates that you see on Facebook and these places between the Trump supporters and the Clinton supporters, they laugh at you, fool. It's like they are playing you. They are playing you, man. Because here's the thing. You know, when in electoral politics, when you get taken for granted, you just got taken. And the Democratic Party takes black folks and brown folks for granted. The Democratic Party takes organized labor for granted. They take the women's group for granted. They take the peace groups for granted.
What kills me, David? You know what kills me about all that, David? I don't see where you get anything for being taken for granted. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
There are people that are selling out for the Clintons, and I swear I don't see what they get. I think they sell out because they don't want anything taken away. You know what I'm saying? Like they like I saw what they did to Tulsi Gabbard when she supported Bernie Sanders. They sent a letter. You know, we're not going to support your
long knives.
There you go. Yeah, like we thought you were. You know, we trusted your judgment. Now we don't, and we're not going to help your campaign. And you're out there in the wilderness alone. So I think people. It's not that they give them bribes. They threaten to take their feet from under them.
No, there's no doubt about that, and that's the thing. Like that's why we as ordinary people have actually got to build a mass movement. And that's why I'm going to ask you, go to the website jill2016.com and sign up, right, so that we can be in touch, right? Jill2016.com, sign up. That's the most important thing. We got to build movements and build organizations that are independent from either the Democratic or the Republican Party leadership. We got to actually build movements that are actually making demands. And here's the thing. The global South, see, in this country, we've been trained to think either you do movement work or you do election work. In the global South, Africa, Asia, Latin America, Central and South America, they're like, that's stupid. You do both, right? That's what we're trying to do in the Green Party, is be part of the various movements and do electoral politics. And I'm going to say this, Tim, at the local, county, state, as well as federal level. Because here's my pledge to you. In 2017, the Green Party are going to do movement schools and campaign schools all across this country. We're going to be running candidates for office at the local level. I mean city council, county commissioner, dog catcher, soil and conservation district, right? We're going to be everywhere. And I'm challenging your viewers to get involved at the local, county, or state level. And here's the other thing. Yeah, I'm asking you to vote for Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka, Green Party for President. I'm asking you to vote for Green Party people for Congress. I'm asking you to vote for Green Party people for state legislature and county and city. But I'm going to go even deeper. Don't just vote green, register green. Change your voter registration, right? When you register green, you vote for peace every day. When you register green, you vote for climate justice every day. When you register green, you vote against the racist criminal justice system every day, because there are already somewhere between 200 to 400,000 Green Party people in this country. You can't know for sure because different states actually do registration and membership rolls and so forth. But we are somewhere around 300,000 people. But imagine, you know what's better than 300,000? 500,000. You know what's better than 500,000? A million. That's how many people actually we could have. And I'm going to also put a plug out for this. See, if folks feel like they have to vote against the candidate that they hate rather than for the one that they want, that's a problem. And the solution to that problem is not to say that I don't get to participate or I don't have the right to cast my vote how I damn well please. It's my vote, right? I can cast it how I want. So can you, Tim. So can your viewers. And you know what? Earn my vote. That's what I tell the candidates. I'm a progressive. Earn my vote.
That's my biggest pushback whenever someone says that Jill Stein and Ajamu are spoilers. I'm like, dude, if Hillary Clinton was a charismatic, attractive leader and people wanted to vote for her, they'd vote for her. Like you know, look, the Cleveland lost the World Series. Did they blame the people in the stands?
Right.
No, they didn't. You know, we lost, you know, and I feel like that's what's happening there. They're like, oh, we might lose. We got to blame someone else. You know, it's like they blame millennials, they blame black folks, they blame Latinos, they blame the South or whatever. It's no one's blaming the campaign.
Tim, I'm going to say this. What they call spoiling, I call participation.
There it is.
I got the right to participate. And if people don't, then you got to earn my vote. But here's the other thing. If the voting system is creating this problem, then change the voting system. The solution is called ranked choice voting, where the voter, instead of just, like right now when you go to the ballot box, you have to choose one, right?
Right.
Imagine a voting system that says, instead of just picking one, you get to rank order your choices. Your first choice, your second choice, your third choice. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, because the voter is empowered to fully express her or his opinion. Counting the ballots is just as easy. Instead of just saying who got the most votes, you say, oh, well, the first choice votes are who you really wanted. So you count up all the first choice votes and say, did anybody get an actual majority of first preference votes? If so, she or he wins, right? Majority rule. But check this out, Tim. If nobody got a majority on the first preference, then you say, well, who was the least preferred candidate? Who got the fewest number of first preference votes? That candidate is eliminated. But check it out. They didn't waste their votes. Why? They've already indicated their second preference on that ballot. So it's an instant runoff, right? So for those viewers who are familiar with runoffs, it's just like a runoff, only you don't have to have another election. You don't have to spend taxpayer money again. You don't have to come back to the polls because everybody's already said who their second choice is. So you just go through that process until a majority winner emerges. And check this out, Tim. That is actually how Major League Baseball chooses the most valuable player.
Wow.
That is how the Heisman Trophy is chosen for college football. The Academy Award uses it. The American Political Science Association uses it. I'm still not through. The Republican Party chooses its officers that way. And we're using that in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in San Francisco, California. It's being experimented with across the country. In Maine, they're voting on implementing that system statewide. What I'm telling you is this. Anybody who thinks that the Green Party or the Libertarian Party's participation is spoiling, then work with us on ranked choice voting, right? There is a solution to this to get us out of this ever downward spiral of fear-based voting. There's solutions to all the problems that face us if we just implement them.
I love it, man. What a wealth of knowledge. Gosh, David, man. Hey, look, I still wonder how these people who say they want hemispherical open borders, free trade, have a problem with a free market in our political system. That makes sense, man. That makes sense.
Hey, look here. I'm going to give you credit right now because I'm stealing that line the next time I'm in a public place. I ain't giving you credit then, so I'll give you credit now. But that's right. How come they all right with a so-called free market on the borders, but not a free market of ideas in politics? What up with that?
They can't control that sucker. That's why, David.
Yeah, that's a Saturday Night Live skit on that one. What up with that?
What up with that?
What up with that?
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
David, man, look, man, you have been a great guest, as you know, man. This is fantastic. I know my people could get more, but I know you got things to do. David, you already said Jill2016.com. Tell them again, Jill2016.com, and anything else you want to tell them to do or where to go.
Listen, the Jill2016.com. Also, for the Green Party itself, gp.org stands for Green Party. So gp.org. So Jill2016.com for the candidate, gp.org. And here's the last thing I want to say is this, Tim. Actually, two things if I could. Number one, you got to get active, right? Because if you are tired and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you got to organize and get involved. Because as my friend Head Rock, the mayor of DC Hip Hop says, he's there in DC, you got to look him up, Head Rock. He's got a rap that goes like this. If you want to change your situation, you better join an organization, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't have much power as individuals, right? We only have our power when we organize together. The second thing I'm going to say is this. Remember that even if you didn't like what you heard from me, the only reason you're hearing this kind of political dialogue is because the Tim Black Show is not part of the corporate media. The Tim Black Show is actually independent citizen journalism at its best. So I hope you'll remember that you get different analysis, different information. The corporate media is lying to you. And Wikileaks actually proves it. They are actually lying to you, trying to tell you a constant refrain that is constantly lies, right? To try to get you to think a certain kind of way. So if you like what you heard, remember you heard it on the Tim Black Show. But here's the other thing. If you didn't like what you heard, recognize you heard it on the Tim Black Show because there's actually conversation that does not happen in corporate media. So that's how I'm going to sign off, Tim.
Man, excellent. My brother, thank you so much, David Cobb. Give it up for David Cobb, y'all, campaign manager for the Green Party, Jill Stein for John Mubaraka, who I'm voting for this year.
Got one.
You got it, brother.
Peace, one. I'm
Peace,
out,
brother.
Tim.
You got it, man. I'll see you soon. I'll see you Sunday at Maryland University.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
You got it, man. Guys, one more time. You got it, brother. My man. Look, guys, that was amazing. That's what I'm talking about. Amazing, amazing. I got you here. Let me disconnect my friend. There we go. There it is, guys. And let me go back here and let me do this. You're all good, David. All right, guys. That was amazing. That was on point. Guys, I'm pumped up. David is full of energy, he's full of passion, and he knows this stuff. And it was great to have him here, come here tonight to share with you. I hope that you all were able to catch it. Do me a favor, please share this video. Please share it with somebody. Spread the word. Get the information out there to people, because people don't know what they don't know. I hope this thing is still streaming. There we go. It is still streaming. Guys, what a guest, right? What a guest, right? What a guest, man. You know, when they try to dumb us down with these stupid narratives, right, and lock them in, I didn't know, you know, I think I did hear something about, you know, John Oliver's people. They gave them different answers. They only used one of them, the one they could knock out, the one they could dismiss. You know, to John Oliver and his production staff there at HBO, which is owned by Time Warner, which is one of the biggest top 10 donators to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe you should know that. Maybe that should be something they disclose, like, hey, you're watching this show, and maybe the fact that we are one of the biggest donors in to the tune of millions of dollars behind Hillary Clinton may have something to do with our content being the way that it is. But hey, you know, that's just me.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
They playing with our emotions and our money and our time. But I'm glad that he addressed that. I'm also glad that he went into depth about the importance of not buying into this stupid narrative that this is a spoiler campaign. I never brought into that. I don't know about you. I never brought, you know what? If that's saying that no one can run except Democrats and Republicans, which I totally dismiss. I think that is condescending and just plain stupid, and it's bigoted to me. You're not a part of our group, so therefore you can't serve the people. Where they do that at? Well, they don't do that here. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'll be back tomorrow for Freedom Friday, plus coffee shows and live streams. You know how I do, man. I'm the hardest working business, the hardest working man in independent media business. So you know what I will be doing. I want you to call into my show tomorrow and let your opinions be heard on the Freedom Friday show. You know Freedom Friday, guys. Come on.
Because I did know I couldn't do that.
No, you can do that. You can call in tomorrow, and you get 5 minutes to be on the phone and say whatever's on your mind, whether it be Hillary, Trump, Green Party, whatever is concerning you. Mass incarceration, legalization of marijuana, decriminalization of marijuana, whatever it is with you, the Dakota Access Pipeline, Jill Stein and Ajamu and many other people were out there protesting on the front lines. Where's the Democratic Party? Where's the Democratic Party? Right? I know Bernie was out there, but I'm talking about other people. Bernie's fighting it, but what about the rest of them? Tell me I got to vote Hillary? Like I always say, guys, vote your conscience. Like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. I'm Tim Black. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you being here. We're always trying something new. I like Skype so far. The resolution's different. My head feels different. I know I'm peaking. But you can hear me and I can hear you. Shout out again to David Cobb for coming on the show tonight. I see you. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Where else? Instagram. Guys, I'm on Instagram, Tim Black at Night. Find me on Instagram if you have an Instagram page. Please do that. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere you are, because I am you. Play some music, man.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am.
This show is sponsored by Tim Black Coffee.
True.
Get it at TimBlackTV.com. Compliments of my crew. Black Coffee.
Tim Black.
Black Mamba Coffee. BlackMambaCoffee.com.
Tim Black.
Nobody take no cornbread from me.
And I'm out of here, guys. See you soon.